All right, hi, welcome back to a Monday morning mentoring. Today we're going to talk about innovation, how you can innovate better, faster, how you can help your teams innovate better and faster. This is something that I've worked on with many clients over the years, and it is great to be done in a team atmosphere, but you can also do it with yourself. You can do it with your family. I love teaching this to parents for thinking outside of the box on how to get your children to do things differently and help them create better. Same with your teams, right? Our teams are kind of like our families. They're extended families, and sometimes there gets a little bit of dysfunction going on. Well, this one shift can really, not only you as a leader can help you shift your thinking outside of the traditional, it has to be this way, to possibility thinking. If we're just meeting, I'm Stephana Johnson. I am a holistic coach, especially for leaders. I do a lot of coaching and developing for leaders, leadership teams. And that holistic approach is really what differentiates me, what makes me, I think, unique in the workspace. Because, let's face it, we cannot segregate and separate that work and our energy and our love, our relationships. It's just, we can try, but we know that it's not effective. And at the end of the day, something's left unfulfilled. And so focusing on that holistic approach is really what I've seen get the most effective results for clients. Okay, so without further ado, let's talk about that key. The idea that things are fixed is something that we've been trained to, that there's only one way, that there is a right or a wrong, or there's this specific way and we have to do it this way, is something that keeps companies, businesses, people stuck. I've experienced it myself, and I've experienced it observing companies with this idea that it must be done a certain way. And when you're stuck and in that pattern, it's very difficult to look at things from new perspectives. But that is the only way that you're really going to be able to innovate. So the question I would ask is, what else is possible? Even though you may not like the answer. So for example, I've worked with a client who is having challenges with their child. And in this perspective, now this was affecting them in their leadership level because they were distracted, because they didn't know how to handle it. So it was a continuous problem. And this continuous problem was also a root cause that was showing up in different places of his work environment, as well as its own personal connection to his own energy. And when we shifted this one thing and started looking at it from the perspective of what else is possible, all of a sudden we started breaking down these false barriers that were put in place, this false framework that was put in place, that things must be this way, and if they are not, then who knows? And there was some false idea of what would happen if you didn't do them just exactly this way. So looking at what else is possible and playing with this full out is so fun to see this practiced in teams where we do the ridiculous. We go out to the ridiculous. So when I'm doing a strategic work session with some companies, I will go in there and we will do the ridiculous. We will literally go so outside of the box that they're laughing and in a way really just being ridiculous, to the point that it's absurd. But that's what then breaks and shatters this very fixed, stifling way of thinking that keeps one stuck and not allowing them to innovate. We see this now. And then we also see the other end of that spectrum, which is when you follow someone else's agenda, because you're so used to giving someone else the power of authority that you stop thinking for yourself. And that's another big piece of this. But the fundamental key here is to ask yourself, what else is possible? And then start listing what else is possible. Start looking at what else is possible, not by trying to fit something into a hole, because the hole may have been arbitrarily set up and it's not a hole, it's a square or it's a triangle, or there's so many potentials in this. And so really seeing that and embracing that. I could go into quantum field and how the observer, etc. But really just use that one question. Use that one question of what else is possible in this situation, so that your mind isn't fixated on one thing. And I encourage you to do this for yourself, for your families, for your children, especially if you have kids that maybe are challenging in certain ways. You can ask even yourself, and if you have older kids, 12 and older, and you want to help them innovate and begin to restore their own thinking and way of imagining, what else is possible? Okay, give me the most absurd. Great, what else is possible? What else is possible? And at first, for your family members or your team or even yourself, this could be really a huge struggle, and where, I don't know, there's nothing else, there's no other option. But we know that there are infinite options. That's the truth. There are infinite options. There are infinite possibilities. And when we can get into that space, we can start looking for what's then the greatest solution, greatest possibility, with the most effective, the most workable, the highest good, the best outcome for all. And then we can start talking about integrity and vision and wisdom that goes along with those possibilities. Then we start getting into what really brings power, and not force, but true power that transcends and transmutes and transforms a world to one that I think we all want to live in, that there's peace and there's harmony and there's innovation and there's inventions and collaboration and creation and expansion in our awareness, not contraction. Not contraction in a way that actually diminishes the whole. All right, so that's the Monday morning for today. And I'm Stephana Johnson. If you haven't subscribed at yourholisticmentor.com, that's where I put the mentoring up for general. And then if you go to stephanajohnson.com, you'll find out more about me as a holistic coach, especially for leaders. Until next time, have an amazing week and ask, what else is possible?